All right, we are back with Lisa Waters Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what are folks talking about, asking here at the Garden Center through we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They're coming in from everywhere anymore, but Lisa curates those and comes up with a few gems that are worthy enough to share over the airwaves of the podcast. So here we are. Welcome,
Here
Lisa.
we are. Thank you.
We should let people know
What?
the Phoenix Symphony is unbelievable.
That was good.
So we went down New Year's Eve,
Mm-hmm.
went to a symphony, we went downtown Phoenix and walked around, had dinner, just kind of drinks afterwards. It was just a great, relaxing time. That was my Christmas gift from my honey.
Christmas gift.
Yeah. I'll take one of those anytime.
Yeah, it was fun. They had Leslie Odom Jr. was singing.
Which is Hamilton for
He
those
did
folks
Hamilton.
that he was the original
actually
cast.
Done a lot.
Yeah.
When you start reading his bio, but
yeah. Well, anytime you get on Broadway, you gotta. It's not just anyone gets on Broadway.
I hope not.
So now he's going on the road, going national.
Yeah, cool. It was very nice, very fun.
Yeah.
Full house. It was good.
Next week, we're taking our grandson to the symphony, the Houston Symphony. And they're playing. So we're trying to you're trying to sophisticate your grandparent, your grandkids, you know what your grandparents know what we're talking about. And so they're playing the Harry Potter movie up in the concert hall. And then the orchestra is playing the music to the movie as it plays. I mean, he's wearing a suit and tie. We're all getting dressed up. We're going out to dinner right afterwards. It's, we'll teach him a thing or two. You put the napkin in your lap, not out there on the table. No, come on. He is.
He's very well raised. Trust me. Our daughter and son have done a good job.
Oh, okay. Anyway. So.
You make him sound like he was raised in a barn.
He's just a 10-year-old.
It's true.
And there isn't, where we're going, there's no mac and cheese or chicken nuggets. There's just things you can barely pronounce.
He may be 5 pounds lighter when he gets
Yes, son, you should order the escargot. Yes. Anyway, we've wasted 3 minutes of banter back and forth for nothing. No garden information here at the start of the show.
It's January.
It is relaxed.
Yeah. All right, you want some questions?
I probably should field a couple of them or take a nap.
All right. Well, Doug is out in Chino. He wants to know when he should start applying his dormant oil on his fruit trees. Mainly he has apples and peaches.
Great. So fruit trees got an orchard. So you know what the definition of an orchard is, right?
No.
So up to 7 trees, or is it 6 trees? I think 7 is a demarcation line. So 6 trees or less is considered a backyard, just like a backyard trees. At 7, it's now considered an orchard, fruit trees. So it can be mix and match, but 7 or more is an orchard. So I've got an orchard in the backyard. Oh yeah, well tell me about that. So anyway, Doug, hopefully you've got an orchard out there in Chino Valley. So what we suggest is finish your pruning. So get all that dead wood out of there. Get the branches that cross in the middle. Bring it down to size that you want. Make it the shape that you want. There's techniques to each kind of tree, and we don't have enough time here in this show to go into that. But when you're all done cleaning up, right afterwards, you're fertilizing and spraying your dormant oil or your horticultural oils, the oils. What the oils do is you put it in a hose and spray. This is where quantity over quality. You just need a bunch of it. Spray that tree from a couple angles. Focus at the base of the tree. Focus on the main trunks of the tree. Really coat all the bark, and you're getting rid of last year's eggs that were laid from, let's say, codling moth on your pears and apples. There's a clear-winged wasp that gets into plums, apricots, nectarines, cherries. So you want to get rid of them. You don't want those. So you're starting the year out clean. You're starting out. Now, bugs, codling moth, it's a moth. It can fly in and lay an egg on the fruit, but at least it's not going to come out from the base of that tree and get right on the fruit as it starts to form for you. So it's really, don't go backwards. Prune first, then spray. I guess it doesn't matter. You could spray first, then you're just using more spray. So because you're spraying things, you're to be pruning out anyway.
Right.
So generally you clean it up and then you go ahead and spray it. Then you fertilize it with the fruit tree food we make here at Waters. So it's an all natural completely organic fruit food.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've upped that fertilizer with a whole bunch of calcium. So it's 6,4,4,7, I think, or it's
I think so.
7% calcium. I mean, there's more calcium than anything else in this organic food. And that's what brings out the flavor and the size of fruit. So it's made for our fruiting plants up here in the mountains of Arizona. So anyway, did we get all that?
I think so.
All right.
So the dormant oil, it can also be, it's not just for fruit trees. It can be used on your evergreens, any other trees you have.
So I would say spray things that you've had any issues with. Roses, it goes after aphids. There are actually some bugs still there in a dormant state on your plants. If that oil coats them, it strips off their exoskeleton, suffocates them, and they die. It also does the same thing. It coats the eggs and it suffocates them, so they die. So you really, really focus on those things you've had problems with. Things that bloom in the spring, lilacs. I would spray those while they're dormant, before they have flowers, so that you don't have insects, thrip flying in to eat that flower while it's in full bloom. So I'm pretty generous. I would just power up the hose and sprayer, hose down the yard, and hit the fruit trees while you're at it, Doug.
Okay. All right. Next question is from Angie. She's starting to see what she thinks is gopher mound activity in the yard. She wants to know, are they really active this time of year? And if they are active, what's the best way to start getting rid of them?
Yeah. So gophers, pocket gophers, they call it pocket gopher, because it has a flap of skin underneath their chin. And the way they dig soil out in the ground is they'll take their front paws, fill up this pouch, go to an exit hole and throw it or chuck this soil up. So that's the name pocket gopher. It's got a pocket of flapper underneath its chin.
How did I not know that?
I just, sometimes
I thought they just used their little paws to kick it out.
Nope. They're actually carrying large. That's why large mounds can show up like overnight. And so that's what they're doing. They are active. You'll actually see after a snowstorm, they're just underneath the snow sometimes. So they're very active. As soon as that ground thaws, they're active, which, we hardly have a freeze here. I think we've had one little storm where the ground froze and then it's thawed like the next day. So they're active all the time. And so go after them. Don't let them get ahead of you. What will happen is the pup stage. So mama had babies last fall. They've been maturing now. Probably they're starting to launch out on their own. So you see all of a sudden just before spring, more activity all of a sudden. That's where the pups are going out and trying to make their own way. They're eating the roots on your plants. They love fruit trees, roses, yuccas, cacti, you name it. They're after protein and moisture. They'll eat grubs, worms. There's nothing good about a pocket gopher. They deserve to be over there, but not in your garden. How to go after them. And I think we got 1 minute left. Let's see if we can get this in. So 1 minute. Here's how you deal with gophers. There's gas. You can chuck a flare down there. It doesn't work. Don't bother. We do sell them here, but don't bother. They've got traps. These are what your grandparents use. Highly effective. Kind of messy. You're dealing with a dead thing, or sometimes they're not dead. They're alive, sitting there wiggling in the trap, and you got to make sure you end the wiggling. So it's brutal, but traps do work. It takes at least 2, but 0.1 in each direction. And then there's, I guess we should cover the repellents. So the repellents, they use a castor oil bean. They actually do work. We have an organic repellent here. You spread on the ground. It just isn't permanent. Just moves them, dislocates them, and they come back in about 6, 8, 9 months. Then we get into the whirligig solar powered stick thing, supposed to vibrate and get them. That doesn't work. Don't bother. Don't waste your time or your money. And then there's poison. So there's a tool that we have called a gopher probe that puts the bait right underneath the ground, right where they're active. And it's highly, highly effective. Gets you a long halo effect, or they don't come back for quite a while. So if you really have gophers, come in and talk to us, and we can get you on your right in, because we are gopher experts.
Don't do that.
Oh, okay. No, sorry. Oops. Didn't mean to insult Confucius.
Just stop.
Okay. Anyway, Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. We're stopping right now. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back.